So a lot of times, as a missionary serves stateside, speaking a foreign language, I get asked all the time, did you get to learn Chinese? Are you worried about your Chinese? Did you really feel like you were part of the culture? And every time I just look them right in the eye and say, yes. And I feel like I had as authentic of a Chinese experience as anyone who went to Taiwan, or I guess it's really the only option, or Hong Kong, as far as Chinese speaking goes. And one of the best parts about serving stateside Chinese speaking, and I think this is the same for all stateside missionaries, even the English speaking ones, is I didn't only learn about the Hong Kong culture or the culture in Taiwan. I met Chinese people from every province, every region of China, and I got to taste the food. And China's a huge country. It's even bigger than the United States. And so there is so much diversity and so much culture within this one country. So serving stateside, I got to learn about the different accents, learn how to say different phrases in multiple dialects, try the different foods, learn more about their traditions, all the tourist sites in China, and then gain friends who are from all these different regions. And so that was a really incredible experience. And I think I got the most access you could to mainland China that is possible to any missionary. And so in Flushing, where I spent most of my time, we just had Chinese people all around us. All the storefronts are in Chinese. Even the public library is mostly written in, everything's written in Chinese inside with English translations, which is pretty fascinating. And I loved it there so much. And I got to take my family back there. That's one of the other perks about serving stateside is you can go back to your mission so easily. And so I got to take my family back there just last week, actually, and my parents were in shock. Like, whoa, like you served in this? And they couldn't understand what was going on around them. And so it's a very authentic experience, and you have a lot of opportunities to learn the language. You do have to be proactive at times because the missionaries around you speak English, and a lot of times you'll work with English and Spanish speaking missionaries. And a lot of people will be able to speak English or are trying to learn English. So you have to be more proactive maybe than missionaries in other countries where the people don't speak any English. But at the same time, you have the opportunity to learn whatever foreign language you're called to speak to its fullest capacity. And so that was a really special experience. I was called originally Mandarin Chinese speaking, but throughout my mission, I'd heard there were a few missionaries who would go English speaking, and I know that happens in a lot of missions, especially stateside. And it was something that I just felt it was going to happen eventually, and it did. At about my 16-month mark, I was transferred to an English area where there were no Chinese people. And that ended up really that was a turning point in my mission. And I feel like it was at that time where I really became a missionary, which is really interesting because I was called Chinese speaking and I felt like that's what I was supposed to do. But I didn't really feel the fullness of the gospel working in my life, or like I was having a complete mission experience until I was really in the English area with the people I served around and my companions who I never would have been with had I not served English speaking. And so I think that's a concern that missionaries do have when they go into an area. But I have a testimony that God is guiding each mission and that He is so aware of what every one of us needs. And me going English speaking was exactly what I needed. And it did not impact my Chinese that greatly. And now that I'm back home, I can take Chinese classes and I'm loving it. And so I think that's a worry that we shouldn't have if we put our faith into God and His plan.